So our topic is Karma Yoga, okay? So can we do a little bit of a test? I know it's been a few weeks, but can we do a little test? We saw 5 problems with Karma Yoga. Anyone remembers what the first problem with Karma Yoga is? The first problem with Karma Yoga is karma is addictive, right? So what is a cycle of addiction? You know, the cycle of addiction is you have a desire, you perform the action, and then you enjoy the result. And when you enjoy the result, the vasana increases. And what does that vasana do? It prompts that desire again. Yes? And then when you have a desire, you do an action, and you enjoy the result. That enjoyment of the result increases the vasana. And then what happens? The desire comes up again, right? And like that, the cycle keeps on going on and on and on, right? And so we've seen examples so many times. So that is the first problem with karma. Karma is addictive, okay? What is the second problem with karma? When you get what you want, either you can become greedy or you can become prideful. Prideful means, you know, I'm the one who got the result. I'm the one who earned it. I'm the one that made it happen. Okay? What does greed mean? Greed means that I want it so badly that I'll do something wrong in order to get it, or I want something so badly that I'll neglect my other duties in order to get that thing. Right? So that is pride and that is greed. What is the word for pride in Sanskrit? Mada. Okay, and what is the word for greed in Sanskrit? Lobha. Mada and lobha. So kama leads to mada and kama leads to lobha. Everyone's remembering? Yes? Okay. The third problem with karma is that if you don't get what you want, what happens? You become angry, right? I didn't get what I wanted. How come I didn't get it? And who do you become, or what do you become angry at? You become angry at whoever stopped you from getting what you wanted, or whomever it may be, whatever situation, circumstance that stopped you from getting what you wanted, right? And that anger, if it becomes so intense, can lead to, anyone remembers? Delusion. What is the word for delusion? Moha, right? So you become so angry at a certain person, you think, they don't love me, they don't respect my wants and needs, and that's why they stop me from getting it. So, but in actuality, that person probably loves you so much. So that kind of delusion arises. So, kama leads to, krodha leads to moha. And the other problem is that if I don't get what I want and somebody else got it, then what is that called? I become jealous, right? I become jealous. And what is the word for jealous? Matsarya. Very good, okay? So, kama can also lead to jealousy, matsarya, if I don't get what I want, okay? So, we see these are called 6 enemies. The 6 enemies are kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, and matsarya. So whenever we say we have an impure mind, it's because of the presence of these 6 things. Kama, desire; krodha, anger; lobha, greed; moha, delusion; mada, pride; and matsarya, jealousy. So whenever we're purifying the mind, whenever we're getting something called chitta shuddhi, then we're removing these 6 things from the mind. Okay? So far so good? The 4th problem with action is that while we're doing the action, if we're so eager for the result, we're anticipating enjoying the result. And then our focus is not on the action, right? So we're distracted. And if we're distracted, are we doing the action efficiently or inefficiently? Inefficiently, okay? So this is one problem. Or, while we're performing the action, we're so worried that we won't get the result that we become very anxious. Oh, am I doing a good job? Am I doing it right? Am I saying the right thing? You know, we become very anxious, right? And then that anxious makes us efficient or inefficient? It makes us inefficient. Do we see this in our day-to-day life from time to time? We do, okay? So I'm not talking in the abstract. I'm talking about our own life, okay? So the 4th problem with action is that action leads to eagerness or anticipation for the result leads to inefficiency, okay? Then the 5th problem with action is what? What is the 5th and final problem with action? It keeps us caught in the cycle of birth and death, right? So we do an action. If it's a good action, we get a punya. And that punya, it could bear the fruit in this life, or it could bear the fruit in the future life. And if it bears the fruit, if it's going to bear the fruit in the future life, it has to bear its fruit, right? That means that we have to be born again. Right? Which means we have to die in this life and be born again. And if we're born again in the next life, what has to happen in the next life? We have to die again. And in that next life, we're doing so many actions, and some of those actions may bear fruit in the next life. Which means we have to die again and be born again. And if we're born again in the next life, then we have to die again. Do anybody wants to die? Nobody raise your hand, please. Nobody wants to die once, right? Why would we want to die? Like so many endless number of times. So this is a problem with action. So action is addictive. If we get what we want, it leads to pride or greed. If we don't get what we want, it leads to anger and delusion or jealousy. When we're so eager for the result, then we become inefficient because we're distracted, or we become anxious because we're afraid we might not get what we want. And action sustains the cycle of life and death. Is it clear? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 problems. Okay? What is the solution to these problems? The solution is karma yoga. So Karma Yoga has 5 aspects, okay? So first we went through the 5 problems, then we're going through 5 aspects of Karma Yoga. Then we'll have another 5 things, right? We're going to see how each of these aspects of Karma Yoga fixes all the problems. Is it okay? Well, let's see what the 5 aspects of Karma Yoga. First aspect of Karma Yoga is what? Gratitude. Very good. The first aspect of Karma Yoga is gratitude. Okay? What does gratitude mean? Gratitude means being thankful, right? If someone gives us a gift for our birthday, then we should say thank you, and then for their birthday, we should give them a gift also, right? If someone does us a favor, we should be grateful and say thank you, and then we should try and return the favor at some point, right? In this way, we should understand that God has given us everything, right? God has given us our parents, God has given us our home, God has given us our innate talents and abilities. Not everyone is good at singing, right? Right? Some people are naturally bad at singing, right? And some people are naturally very, very good in singing, right? Where did that talent come from, right? Where did that ability, what is the most important thing in singing? I should not say. But what I think, my opinion on what the most important thing in singing is the ability to hear the notes properly and distinguish between the notes, right? That's not necessarily, that's something you can hone, that's something you can improve upon, but to some degree you have to be inborn with that ability. Yes or no? Ganeshi, yes? Yes. She says yes. Okay. So we should be so grateful for whatever abilities that we have. If it's not singing, maybe it's dancing, you know? Or maybe we have some great physical ability, physical strength. Or maybe we're very good in seeing abstract patterns and things and logic and so whatever the talent may be. Maybe we're very good in drawing and painting and everything, right? We should be so thankful for our talents also. We should be thankful that God has given us such a great life with so much abundant resources. We should be grateful that God has given us such a wonderful family also. Are we grateful for our family? Yes, I hope so, yes. Okay. We should be so grateful for the Lord to everything. We may make an effort, and we may make a very strong effort to get the things that we want, but who gave you the ability to make that effort? God gave, everyone should say it. Who gave you the ability to make that effort? God gave you the ability to even make that effort. So that gratitude should be there to the Lord. One should feel the presence of the Lord in one's heart. Right? Lord is not just someone over there on some cloud somewhere. Lord is someone who's in your heart. You should feel that deep and strong connection there, right? So we should be very grateful to the Lord. One thing that gratitude also does is when we're grateful for what we have, then we're not thinking about what we don't have, right? So that gratitude naturally cultivates that sense of contentment. When we're not content, what are we thinking? I don't have this, I wish I had that, you know? But when we're contented, we get the peace of mind of not having those thoughts. Is it clear? Okay. Now, when we're grateful to the Lord, we should then, like I said earlier, right? When someone gives us a gift, then we should return the gift. Now, for the Lord who's given us everything, we should also dedicate ourselves to the Lord. And how do we dedicate ourselves to the Lord? We dedicate our actions to the Lord. So the first aspect is gratitude. Second aspect is to dedicate our actions to the Lord. Prioritize the Lord's happiness above our own, right? We gave some examples. Like all our actions we can dedicate to the Lord, right? What is our usual attitude towards eating? I'm hungry, I need to eat something, I'll eat whatever is available, and whatever tastes good also, if it tastes good, right? That's our usual attitude towards eating, right? But even that act of eating, we can dedicate to the Lord, right? Lord, I'm so very thankful for this food. Thank you so much for giving me abundance and energy. You know, I love you so much, Lord. So much thankfulness that I have. Okay? And we do, what prayer do we do before eating? Remarkable prayer. You know, we should remember the Lord. There's some points that are there I'm not remembering. Okay? Even what is our attitude towards work usually? Our attitude towards work is that, you know, I have this to-do list at work. I have to do X, Y, Z, and even the list goes beyond A, B, C, D, E. There's so many things that I have to do and complete at work. And that's our attitude towards work. But we should think, Lord, thank you for giving me the ability to work. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work. You know? Thank you that I'm not unemployed also. Lord, thank you for allowing me to get the education and the skills that I need in order to work. And let me serve the people and serve you the best that I can, right? So, like that. Even with raising children, the attitude is like, you know, I need to make sure that the kids get to school on time, to their activities on time. I should make sure they're well-dressed and well-groomed and that they have good manners and that they're set up for success in life. But what should our attitude towards raising children be? Our attitude should be like, Lord, thank you for giving me these particular children to raise, right? It's not an accident that you're the parent of that particular child, right? And that child is yours, right? You've been matched up. Like they have all these kind of, I don't want to say that. Okay? You've been matched up with your child, okay? Because that child has particular talents that need, and particular ideas and thoughts that need to come out, and that child is there to bring things out of you. Did you know that you could ever love someone more than you love yourself? Until you had a kid? I mean, it's such a beautiful thing to unlock from your own heart, right? And when you have children, so many times, so often, they'll do things that you don't like, right? And you'll actually, a lot of times if someone does something you don't like, you don't really care, because you don't have that kind of deep connection. When your children, when they do something you don't like, you see how deep it gets on your nerves, because you think, are they doing this because I said something or did something that did they pick it up from me? No, they picked it up from the, you know who. but you think like that, so you really care in a deep way, and the way your own mind reacts to it, you get to see what it is, and you get to kind of, when you look at your own reaction, you get to gauge your own reaction. So you're looking at the kid, you get to gauge your own reaction to it, and then you have a better understanding of your own self. And when you have a better understanding of yourself, then you can see how you improve, right? If there's a problem, first you have to know there's a problem, right? So that process of raising children, it brings out a lot of deep and great things within yourself. Okay, so that attitude of gratitude helps you to have a deeper understanding. Otherwise, the child does something to annoy you and you just become very deeply frustrated. But out of your frustrations, you should see an opportunity for growth. Does it make sense? All of us have gone through it or are going through it. Okay? So that sense of dedicating the actions to the Lord because of our sense of gratitude should be there. The third aspect of Karma Yoga is that you should do your best. What else could the third word be in that phrase? You should do your very good, right? So when we dedicate our actions, even that was not. You should do your one more time, louder, okay? I can't hear you. You should do your best, right? Even when you're saying you should do your best, you should say, do your best and say you do your best. Okay? You should do your best. Very good. Okay. So, if you don't like your boss, how do you work? Just think for a second. If you don't like your boss, how do you work? Right? Of course, you'll do your job. And you may even do your job well also. But really, you're doing your job just so that you can get your promotion. You don't really care on a deep level whether your boss actually likes or appreciates the work or doesn't like or appreciate the work. You only care how much your boss likes the work as much as it affects your own employment or your own promotion, you know? And you only care how much your boss doesn't like your work as much as you don't want to get punished for doing a bad job, right? So that kind of work is done in a selfish way. You know, there's no sense of dedication in that kind of work. There's no real kind of deep commitment. You don't necessarily care about efficiency. You know what I mean? And you're not necessarily the best team player. Is it okay? Right? Because if you don't like the leader of the team, then the team doesn't, then you won't function well on the team. Does it make sense? Okay? Yes. Good. Okay, now if you love your boss, how do you work? How many of you love your boss? I love my boss. How many of you love your boss? That's not right. Okay. If you love your boss, then your work is like full of energy, enthusiasm. You really like going to work. You like talking to your boss. You know, it's a very cordial kind of relationship. You're a good team player. Even if your boss criticizes some of your work or maybe criticizes you feel that, okay, the boss is telling me something I need to improve upon, and I really trust and value their opinion, and they're only telling me so that I can move up the chain or achieve the kind of goals that I want to achieve, right? So when you love your boss, in such an efficient, great way, you work. When you love your boss, you know what you do? You really think about how you can make your boss look in front of their boss, right? So you think in that way too. And you know, that's a very harmonious relationship. Like, usually they talk about a downward spiral, but this is more like an upward kind of cycle, okay? Okay, what does that have to do with Karma Yoga? When you love the Lord and you're dedicating all your actions to the Lord, then how will you work? Or how will you do all your actions? You'll do that with the same sense of enthusiasm, love, and dedication. I love the Lord so much. Whatever I do, let me do it to the best of my ability, right? And another aspect, at work we find that there's some things that we really love to do at work. Like, we love interfacing with or having meetings with the client and talking to the client. Or maybe there's some creative aspect of the work that we really like. And what we find is when there's some part of the job that we really like, we try and spend more time on that part of the job that we like than the things that we don't like in our job. Do we find that? Yeah. And when that happens see, all the aspects of the job have to get done, even the parts of the job we don't like, right? So we spend more time on the parts that we like, and then we kind of neglect the things that we don't like. And then at the end, either the job is kind of incomplete or not perfect, or it's like we have to spend extra time in order to do those things that we didn't do. Yes or no? Right? You have to think about your work day, right? Think about what are the things that you like, what are the things that you don't like, right? In the same way, there may be aspects of the job that we don't like, such as like paperwork, or reporting to our boss, whatever our progress on the project is. What are other things that we don't like about the job? There may be some emails that we don't like to send and constant notifications. There may be someone at work that we don't like that we have to deal with. Anybody at work that they don't like? Daily feedback.
Yearly feedbacks like reviews.
Yearly reviews and I had mine, I think, day before yesterday. So it's like all those kind of aspects of the work that we don't like, but that have to get done. Right? But when we have that enthusiasm, energy for work, when we're dedicating that work to something other than ourselves, like for our love for the Lord, then we can put aside our likes and dislikes. Because doing our best means that we do the job completely. And we do the job at a high level of quality also. Right? So doing our best means doing the job completely and at a high level of quality. So then our likes and dislikes don't come in the middle of that. Is it making sense? So when we do our best, we don't focus on our likes and dislikes. We focus on doing our best. So you should do your best. Okay? Do your best. Everything made sense? Okay. Good. Then the fourth aspect. So first aspect was gratitude. Second aspect was dedicating the action to the Lord. Third aspect is doing your best. And then the fourth aspect is that whatever result that I get, even if it's one that I didn't plan for, I accept it easily because I did my best. Because I did my best. Doing my best also means like there's really nothing else I could have done better, right? And when we have that sense, if the thing doesn't go as planned, then I'm not really bothered about it. I may be a little bit disappointed, but I don't get so down in the dumps about it. I know that I did my best, right? Sometimes, we quit our corporate job and then what do? We don't become a bum. We start our own business or become an independent consultant or something like that, right? And we work really, really hard, but after some time, and we really, really do our best, but then we may find that business didn't work out. And then we go back to the corporate job, or sometimes some people, one business doesn't work out, and what do? They start another business, right? You can be sad or disappointed about how your first business didn't work out. But a lot of people who are very successful, what do they find? They learned so many things for everything that went right and everything that went wrong in the first business. And their second business becomes a huge, huge success, right? This is kind of Priya's story a little bit. You can ask her to tell you. But when you really put your best effort forward, in that first business, you'll learn so many different and new and awesome things that even if it doesn't go well, that second business is going to be fantastic. But if you don't do your best in that business or anything what you do, you'll always be wondering, how would things have gone if I had done this or that differently? What if I had pursued this other option? You'll always be what ifing. And you'll always be in a kind of state of regret, right? So do your best, and you're able to accept whatever result comes in stride, okay? So when we do our best, we can easily accept the result. Fifth aspect of Karma Yoga is when we do the action with so much love for the Lord, then we'll accept the result as what the Lord thinks is best thing for us, right? And this is really such a blessing, We'll accept the result as what the Lord thinks is best for us, right? If you always got what you want, we think that'd be a very awesome life, right? It's like, I always get what I want, right? But what's the problem with always getting what you want? You never really grow. You never really learn. It's almost like you have a genie and you just kind of keep asking for things and you always get the things. But actually not getting what you want from time to time is a real blessing, because then you can see how your mind reacts, right? When you don't get what you want, oftentimes when we don't get what we want, we'll start making excuses, right? So if we have to observe, how does our mind react when we don't get what we want? Do we make excuses? Or do we blame other people for the things that didn't go right with us or with our effort? Or do we take responsibility for those things, right? When you accept that whatever result is coming is what the Lord thinks is best for me, it's much easier to take responsibility for our own actions, right? We can think deeply and we can grow from that, right? So we should accept whatever the result is as what the Lord thinks is best for us, so we can learn and we can grow, okay? Did you know that gods and devatas and pitras in the heavens, they're jealous of us as having a human birth? Those devatas and pitras, I'm not talking about like the Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, but I'm talking about more the Indra level and more the pitras level. Pitra, what does pitra mean? Pitra means the ancestors, right? So the ancestors, having lived a good life and doing certain rituals, they go to the pitra look. So in those heavens, you get everything, whatever you want. Right? Everything, whatever you can think of, you get. And a very peaceful and happy life you get in the heavens. But those pitras and those devatas are very jealous of human beings. Why would they be jealous of human beings? The pitras and devatas are so distracted by their enjoyments in the heavens that they never have any thought of getting moksha, of being freed from the cycle of birth and death, right? And the devatas and pitras, they don't stay in the heavens forever. After a certain amount of time, or punya is exhausted, they have to come back to the earth, right? So does human beings who have that ability to get moksha, So just know, the people that are up there are jealous of you, because you have that opportunity, that divine opportunity to study, to practice sadhana, and to get moksha. Okay? So these are the 5 aspects of Karma Yoga. One is gratitude. Second is dedicate actions to the Lord. And third is doing your best. These first 3 are called as Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. Offering one's actions to the Lord. All of those 3, gratitude, dedicating actions to the Lord, and doing your best, those are the 3 aspects of offering the actions to the Lord. Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. This accepting the result easily because I've done my best, and knowing that whatever I get is what the Lord thinks is best for me, that 4th and 5th aspect, that is called as prasada buddhi. Accepting the result as the Lord's prasad. Okay? So 1, 2, and 3, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. 4 and 5 are prasada buddhi. Okay. I hope everyone remembers most of these things. Okay? I hope it's applicable to the daily life, and not just some theoretical, abstract thing. Giving a lot of examples after the class. Thank you. Okay? So let us move forward. So now we're going back a little bit. The first problem, now we're seeing what are the solutions. So the first problem is, action is addictive, right? It keeps us caught in that cycle, right? Desire, what is a cycle? Desire, action, enjoying the result, and then the vasana increases. So we have to hit the chain where the chain is weak. We have to hit the chain at the vasanas, right? So if we reduce our likes and dislikes, then the desires don't run rampant. When the vasana is weak, the desire becomes more difficult to pop up, right? Okay, so So when I'm doing my best, we saw before, when I'm doing my best, I don't focus on my likes and dislikes, right? I don't like doing paperwork at work, right? But I like doing the creative work. When we're doing our best, I don't focus on the likes and dislikes, and then the vasana becomes weaker and weaker, right? And when the vasana becomes weaker and weaker, the desire arises less and less, right? And when the desire arises less, the action is less, the enjoyment of the result is less, and the vasana keeps becoming less and less, right? I have some seva here to do at the mission. I do kitchen seva, okay? And in that kitchen seva, I really like doing the food distribution. This is theoretical, okay? I really like doing the food distribution. And maybe I will do it also. I like doing the food distribution. I like talking to the people and seeing how their day goes. That's also part of the kitchen seva. But you know what I don't like doing in kitchen seva? Anyone can guess? Washing the dishes. Yeah, correct. So what do? I spend more time doing the distribution and talking to people because I really enjoy that. But I really kind of procrastinate at the end on doing the dishes, right? But if I'm dedicating my action with love to the Lord, you know, what I'll do is I'll spend the proper amount of time talking to people and distributing, and I'll also spend the proper amount of time doing the dishes, because that is my expression of love for the Lord, doing dishes. Whether in the kitchen here at Chinmay Mission, whether at home, I'm the one who does the dishes. Priya does all the cooking, and I do all the dishes. Doesn't mean sometimes I cook a few things, sometimes Priya does a few dishes, but mainly that is our role, you know? And that is my expression of love to Priya, okay? to do the dishes on time, diligently, not leave them in the sink, to only put the things in the dishwasher that belong in the dishwasher, and not put the other things that'll melt or otherwise get damaged. You know? That is my expression of love to Priya, right? So when we dedicate our actions with love, we put our likes and dislikes aside, our vasanas go away, and our vasanas become less and less, and then we become less and less caught in that cycle. What is a cycle? Desire, action, enjoy the result, vasana. Is it okay? Is it clear? But then that vasana becomes less and less, and finally, in the end, you can cut it, then you become free of that cycle. And you become so happy because you're doing something, whenever you're doing something out of love, are you happy or unhappy? Obviously, the answer is happy. So you don't get happiness from enjoying the result, you get happiness from the work itself. And this is a secret of Karma Yoga. Clear? All right. Next thing. And then also the thing is, when we have gratitude for what we have, we don't think about what we don't have, right? And therefore we have that spirit of contentment that we said before. So the vasana for things that we don't have becomes less and less also. When we have contentment, then the vasana for what we don't have becomes less and less. Is it clear? So both ways the vasanas become less and less. Okay? Pride. Right? So let's say, now I made this example before I knew Ganesh was coming. But let's say we're doing a musical performance, and in that musical performance, we did a fantastic and excellent job in that musical performance, right? If we don't have that sense of gratitude, what do we feel? It's like, I did a great job. I did fantastically, you know? And then that pride comes up. And that pride can cause us a lot of problems at that time and later, right? Does it make sense? But when we have a sense of gratitude, and when we've done our best, when we're dedicating our actions to the Lord, and especially when we have gratitude, then we feel like, I'm so thankful for my parents for enrolling me in the music class that we have every Sunday from 10:15 to 11:15, starting next week. Right? I'm so grateful to my parents for starting music class, putting me in music class. I'm so grateful to all the musicians that I listened to that inspired me to love this music and to love making this music. And most of all, I'm so thankful for the teachers who have taught me how this musical art and who have helped me hone my skills. And I'm so thankful to for there to be an audience there to listen to. You should never forget that the audience is there, right? So when that sense of gratitude, when that sense of thankfulness is there, that feeling that I did it becomes less and less, and then we don't become so prideful. Does it make sense? All right. So that pride, that spirit of karma yoga reduces our pride. Okay? How did we define greed? We define greed as that when I want something so much that I'll do something wrong in order to get it. But if you're dedicating your action to the Lord, are you going to do anything wrong? Yes or no? Anybody says yes? If you're dedicating the action to the Lord, are you going to do anything wrong in that action?
No.
That no is so weak. Are you going to do anything wrong? No. Okay, the bottom sometimes. Okay, she said 3 times. Okay, when we dedicate our action to the Lord, then we won't do anything wrong. And then the other aspect of greed is that sometimes we become so desirous of a thing that we'll do everything to get that thing and we'll neglect our other duties, right? But doing your best means doing your best in all aspects of our life and living, right? So in order to get that promotion at work, I won't neglect my other duties at home, you know? I'll focus really hard when I'm at work, and then I'll also focus really hard and do everything with love when I'm at home. So that thing of being greedy and neglectful of our duties will go away. Okay? Is it clear? Plus, we won't be greedy because we're dedicating our action to the Lord. We're dedicating the action to the Lord to make the Lord happy. So that desire doesn't become as big a deal. And then we won't be greedy also because that yearning for more, which we also call as greed, since we accept what we get from the Lord as what is best for us, how much the Lord gives us is also what is best for us. So that yearning for more won't be more. Are you seeing how we're applying the solutions to the different problems? Okay. All right, let's move on. What was the third problem? Anyone remembers? Krodha, anger. Okay? So what are the things that make us angry? When we get interrupted while we're doing something by our spouse, by our children, by our boss, by notifications on our phone, that causes us some irritation. Yes or no? Yes. Okay, what's the second thing? If someone is rude to us or mean to us or critical of us, then we also feel angry. What's another thing that makes us feel angry? When we feel that something is unfair, or we feel like we're being overcharged for something, or when we find someone not following the rules in a way that's unfair to us, then we get angry. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. If someone did not do what they were supposed to do at the time they were supposed to do it, we feel angry. Okay? You can generate your own examples. Okay? So these are the kind of things where we generally feel angry. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So when we work in a spirit of karma yoga, then we'll accept whatever situation comes to us as what the Lord thinks is best for us. You know, we don't ignore whatever made us angry. We deal with that situation, but we accept that the Lord has put us in this situation. And the reason the Lord has put us in this situation is that we can see how our own mind, kind of like what I was saying before, seeing how our own mind responds to this situation, you know, and we can see whether our mental response is a good response or a not good response, you know? So it just brings that aspect. Whatever is happening now, that is what is meant to be happening to me. So what happens, the level of that anger gets reduced. Whatever is happening is what is supposed to be happening. That level of some people say radical acceptance comes into life. Whatever is happening is whatever is supposed to be happening, so that I can learn more about myself, so that I can see how I angrily respond. Do we want to be angry? Anybody who likes being angry or wants to be angry? We don't like being angry, right? So when that response of anger comes, we should see, like, okay, we should acknowledge, I am angry, but I don't want to be angry. But let me accept the situation for what it is, and instead of impulsively reacting to the situation, I should intelligently respond to the situation. So it gives us that ability to reflect, you know? I don't have to lose my cool. So that sense of acceptance that the Lord is giving me what's best, that helps to reduce my anger. Okay? The fourth problem with action we saw was that kind of anticipation or anxiety when we're so eager for the results, right? So when I'm doing the action, I'm so eager, I'm thinking about enjoying the result while I'm doing the action. I'm having that anticipation, and then I get distracted by that, right? Or I'm so worried that I'm not going to get what I want that I become anxious about it. That was the fourth problem. But when I'm doing my best and dedicating my action to the Lord, I'm not so focused on whether I'm going to enjoy or not. I'm focused on dedicating that action out of love for the Lord. So I don't get distracted and I don't get anxious. The fifth problem we'll go over next time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate